Hey, welcome to the first of our lockdown lessons. So whilst school is closed, I'll be setting your assignments for your lessons over the internet. So welcome, this is my living room. You're here in my house here in London. And today we're going to be working on our sticking patterns and creating fills with them. All right, let's get into it. So this is our single stroke track, level 3. I'm just going to play my singles on the snare drum. So this is 8 notes. 2, 1. All right, if I play them in path 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 out. So we all should be familiar with that. Now I'm going to play one bar of my Billie Jean groove and then one bar of that fill. So my Billie Jean groove, 1, and then we play the fill. 1, with the single stroke track. 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 out. 1. So my low tom fell on all of the beats. Let's try a different path. Let's try path 4, right to snare. And 2, and 1. Alright, so this is without assembly lines, so I'm not combining paths at the moment, I'm just sticking on one path. So let's try double strokes, the same thing, application A, so that's one hand on one drum, the other hand on another, and I'll do this the same speed. Doubles, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's pick path 3. Remember, for path 3, the right hand is on the snare drum, the left hand is on the high tom. Hopefully you can see that, yes. 2, out 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 out 1. So we can count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 out. Let's pick path 2 and make it quicker. Path 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. All right, let's take this back to single strokes and we're going to play assembly lines. So assembly line is when we're making the sequence longer. So we're combining these paths. So I'll begin with path 1 to path 2. And if I'm playing 8 notes, that's going to be 1 and 2 and. So it takes 2 beats to complete that sequence. Now we want a 4-beat fill, because for this lesson we're playing 1 bar of beat, 1 bar of groove, 1 bar of fill. So we have to do that whole thing twice. 1. Let's hear what that sounds like with the track at level 2. 2, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. So that still might be quite quick for some of you. So I'm going to go back to level 1, but I'm going to pick 2 different paths. So I'm going to pick path 1 and 5. Path 1, path 5, B. So that's single strokes with our assembly lines. Let's go to double strokes with our assembly lines. Now this time, if we're playing 1 of each, if I go back to 1 and 2, path 1 and then path 2. That takes a whole bar to finish. That takes 4 beats to play that fill. 1. So with this, we're only going to get to play 1 assembly line because we're playing 4-beat fill. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that sequence already takes the whole bar. So let's try this real slow, speed 1. This is speed 1 of doubles. 2, 1. All right, let's crank him up, and 2 different paths. I'm going to do path 2 and 4. So path 2, path 4, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right, so that's our double strokes with assembly lines. Now I did promise we're going to do mixed singles and doubles. So I'm going to quickly get the mixed singles and doubles track up. By the way, these are all available on the Hand Technique for Beginners course. That's the Unlock Your Drumming Hand Technique for Beginners on Udemy. All of my students, you'll already have these tracks on your iPads. If you haven't, email me, I'll send you the links. If you're just randomly watching this on YouTube, you need to get the course, which is on Udemy, Unlock Your Drumming Hand Technique for Beginners. All these backing tracks will be on there, as will a lesson about these pathways, these 5 pathways of motion, if you're wondering what we're doing. But all of my students should be on board. All right, mixed singles and doubles. We're going to do single strokes for 2 beats and then double strokes for 2 beats. So on path 1, it will look like this. So that's going to be our fill. We've got paradiddle, diddle. So no assembly line yet, they're just in path 1. Okay, with the song. This is level 1. 1. And I'll take him up to speed 5, and I'm going to do this on path 4. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So I'm just going to sit on that. 1 bar of groove, 1 bar of fill, 8th note fill, paradiddle diddle. It takes up 4 beats to complete that fill. I'm going to experiment with these 5 different pathways of motion. Still not assembly lines because I'm not combining them in the same fill. I'm just staying on one of them for the whole fill. And 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Alright, so what would assembly lines look like? So when we do assembly lines in lessons on the mixed singles and doubles, I often do the singles as one path, the doubles as another path. So that would be, if I did 2 to 4, that's a great starting place. Path 2 for my singles, and then I go to path 4 for my doubles. Level 1, 1 bar of groove, 1 bar fill. 1, 2, and 3, and assembly line. 1, and 2, You'll notice I did 4, then 2 by accident then. I'm going to pick 1, then 5 and make it quicker. So path 1. Our paras, our diddles, path 5. And 2, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Now because I'm coming to path 5 and playing it open, snare, hi-hat, you'll hear that interesting rhythm that we get on the snare. And that's why these sticking patterns and these different pathways can be pretty cool to create interesting fills. So if I did path 3 and then 1, we get an interesting pattern there on the snare drum. So I'll play 3 then 1 with the song at 150. 2, 1, 2, 3, now 1. for good measure, we're going to put the paradiddle in. So that's for the slightly more advanced beginners. This is the top end of beginner. We're playing a paradiddle path A, application A, sorry. Low to snare to begin with, just a paradiddle. Or 1. So that boot, doot, doot, boot, that's the really synonymous sound with the paradiddle. You'll hear that all the time with paradiddle. Let's make him quicker and do path 4. 2, or 1, 2, 3, and 4. Out. 1. Alright, so for an assembly line with a paradiddle, we're playing 8th notes, paradiddle, paradiddle. So a single paradiddle already takes a whole bar to finish. That's the first half of a paradiddle. The second half then goes to the snare. Now we're playing, remember, 1 bar groove, 1 bar fill, so we've only got 4 beats to play our fill. So if we want to do an assembly line, combine 2 paths, we could do it halfway through the bar. So we're going to do half a paradiddle and then move to the next path. But remember, the path will be going in the opposite direction because we're playing on the left side of the paradiddle, the other side of the paradiddle. So if I did 2 then 4, that's a great example for this. Notice I went snare right for that. With the song, this is level 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Out. 1. Alright, so we're playing 8th note fills in this course. So the fastest we can go with our single paradiddle before it goes to 16th notes is level 4. So this is going up to level 4 because this is still for beginners. We're playing an 8th note fill. We're going to do assembly lines path 3 and then path 1. Which is a cool effect because you go to only going to the toms on the Ra. 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there you have single paradiddle as an 8th note fill, and I was always just playing the Billie Jean groove throughout this lesson, but you can experiment. So take your 7 essential grooves and just experiment with some different grooves and then go into that fill. But that's your first of our lockdown lessons. I really hope to see you soon. I hope you're all well, and I'm sure we'll be in a room together playing in school in no time. So have fun, and I'm going to see you all on Skype anyway. So this is your first assignment that we're going to talk about in your next week's lesson. So see you all then.